Hey guys, Christina here, and today I have a review for you of The Good and the Beautiful Language Arts Level 3. Now I have had 2 children go through this course so far, so I feel like we've kind of had a very good look through it, and I'm going to share with you what it looks like once children have actually done the work, what we thought of it, the pros, the cons, and kind of give you an overview of that. So I'll turn the camera around and give you a look at it first. All right, so let me just tell you first, my kids are running around, so you'll probably hear them in the background. But this is what it looks like. The course book, the course companion, the readers, volume 1 and 2, and a penny's worth of character is a book that you need as well. Now, you can purchase these from The Good and the Beautiful, or this level is actually free to download. So this is a book that I purchased from the company. I did have one of my children, the first one who used it, we printed it and bound it ourselves, and it worked just fine that way. The only thing I didn't print myself were the readers, so I'm not quite sure how those print when you are doing it yourself, but here's a quick look. They are in black and white. Those are the 2 readers. So, just some things about the course book. So, this contains literature, grammar and usage, punctuation, art, geography, spelling, vocabulary, and writing. And their levels are not the same as grades. So that's something you need to keep in mind. There's an assessment on the website that you can do to find out where your child should be placed. And this one, it says level 3 is about an advanced grade 3, grade 4 level. But again, do the assessment so you know where to put your child. So I just wanted to go through a few things here. So it starts off with at a glance and just kind of telling you what they're going to be covering in this course. Table of contents. And this is broken up into lessons. And there are 130 lessons. However, lessons are not all the same length, and that's something you need to know in advance. So about this course, it goes through here, just some principles and about it. Commonly asked questions. Now, here is something you need to pay attention to. It says items needed for the course. You do need the extra book, a penny's worth of character. And then there are 2 reading challenges, which gives you a list of books that you need to choose from. So just be aware of that. And I will show you what my children did in a minute. And then you're also going to have a book of my book of stories and writings. We just put them in a binder, and that worked totally fine. So here's some information here. They have challenge word flashcards. I'll show you, those are these here. These ones that came from the company are on quite thick paper, more almost like a cardboard type paper. When I printed them myself for my first child, I just used regular paper and it came out just fine. And I actually stored them in these little containers here. And when you do it through regular paper, they fit. When you do it right from the company, when you use theirs, they do not fit. So just know that. And what you're going to do is you're going to divide those up. You're going to have learning, mastered, and not learned. And you're going to work on those. And it gives you all the details here saying to choose 15 to 20 a week. They need to be able to say it correctly. I believe it's 3 times. That's how we did it. And then they could pass it off. Now it says here how to teach. So you're going to do spelling words for 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to do the challenge cards for 5 minutes. You're going to have the child read the level 3 reader on their own for at least 20 minutes, and then complete 30 to 40 minutes in the course book with the child. So this is a big difference. This is not do a lesson a day. This is set a timer and do however much your child is able to do in that time. And then also work on poetry memorization 1 to 2 times a week. Now, this did not work for my kids. I'll say that right off the bat. So we did it by lesson because that just worked better for our children. The spelling, I'll show you how I did that in a minute when I'm done giving you a look in here. So there's some more information here. And you know where it says here, 60 to 90 minutes a day, I think that's more than actually what's needed. But again, it depends on your child. So there's an assessment you can do right at the beginning, and then you can do it at the end again if you want. Again, great thing about homeschooling, it's totally up to you what changes you make, if you want to test, if you want to assess, and so on. And then it jumps right in. So lessons are set up with instructions and little check boxes, and they're broken up for what you're going to do. Because remember, you may not, if you follow their program, you may not get through a lesson a day. Now, one thing I absolutely love about this program is the art. Gorgeous, gorgeous art studies in here. Love this. And what we did was we used these little tabs here. If we weren't finished a lesson, we just put it there and come back to it. And that's how we kept track. This is an example of one of the worksheets at the very beginning. And then here is an example of dictation. So you are actually going to dictate to the child, and they're going to write these words down. We just used a regular notebook, just like this, and they would just write in there. So again, just an example here. Now there are parts later on where it says to do a section a day. And so again, I would just put a little tab here, and we would start that and then get on to our lesson for the day. Again, the next day, do that, and then get on to the next lesson. So you can continue on while you're still finishing up. Now there are, like I said, some books you read. So this is one section that you're going to read with that book. And then there's two challenge section or challenge book sections. So one is a biography. And so these are the ones they suggest, but they give you ideas and encourage you to choose other ones if you want to. You can see a lot of this is American. We are not American. So my oldest son, he chose this book here, Helen Keller. We actually have this in French and English, so I had him read it in both because it was a very simple read for him. And our children speak French, different degrees. My other child, oh yeah, this one, he read The Courage of Sarah Noble. Again, they're very short, very simple books, and that's what they chose. This is an idea of what the geography looks like, the geography section. They had to make their own city with a system of country, or with a road system, or a country with a legend for its climate. So that's an example of the geography. And the lessons are not set up like by section. Every day is something different. The second one here, reading challenge. These are the ones that they suggest. My oldest read Primrose Day, which is a thicker book. And the other one, he read Happy Little Family, which isn't quite as thick. Some of these are older books, so I couldn't find this book. We do own all the other ones though. So they chose that one. So I'll just kind of give you a flip through. At the end, I should say this too, there is a story that is broken up into sections, and so they finish with a story about the Kingdom of Kind, which is a great story. I really like that. But here's kind of a flip through of what it looks like. So you can see the art in there, geography, there's color. It's quite varied. Let's see the beautiful artwork. So then it also comes with the course companion. I'll give you a look in here. So there's a daily checklist, an idea there. There's some maps the kids use for some of their work. These are the spelling words. And so what we did was I would ask my children to spell. If they got it right, I would just choose mastered. If they got it wrong, we would choose review. And we would do 5 words a week. And I had them on flashcards, which I'll pull out in a minute here and show you. And then they would write a sentence each day using the spelling word in it. And then they would have to spell the word as well. And once a week we would change that. All the instructions on how to do it are here. But these are the spelling charts. These are the spelling rules. I skipped a page, yeah. Some ideas there. These are the spelling rules that are covered within the book. And let me just say, some of these I did not know. So I learned a lot doing this level with my children. Poetry memorization. Now, my children were catching up because they had gaps in their grammar and some of their spelling. And so we didn't do the poetry memorization because they did it quite quickly. One child went through in 4 months, the other in 5 months. My next son, he's about to start the level 3, and he'll be doing one like lesson a day, like a lot slower, and so he will be doing the poetry, but we have not done that with my older children. And there's a glossary of terms in the back, and so there's a look at that. So I'm just going to pull those cards out to show you a look at the word cards. So here's just the words that we did. Oh, some are the wrong way. And I just put them on the cards, and then they've been passed on for my next son to use. So those are the ones that they worked on this year. Now I want to give you a look at what it looks like when it's done. Now this child is very rough on his books. My first child who went through, it did not look this rough. But this wire binding I'm not a fan of. I just don't seem to like it very much, but I'll give you kind of a look once it's done with writing and such in it. The other thing I forgot to mention is you do need a highlighter as well. And you need to have a globe or a map available. So you can kind of see what it looks like once it's done. And then he also has his writings, his good copies in a binder for certain assignments. This is a look at kind of what's left of it. Unfortunately, I like the other binding better. But again, this child is quite rough on it. So there's a look through there. Horse Companion, he had done as well. He didn't color it. You can color each little figure when you're done, but he wasn't into coloring, so he did not color it. And then here's just a quick look through his dictation, the sentences he would do. Really simple in there. So, pros and cons. Of course, the first pro is that you're covering so many different subjects all together. They're still interrelated in the way that it's set up, and so it's not sporadic or like cut and paste. It makes sense, and I really like that. The cost, if you're ordering directly from the company, it's not that expensive. If you're ordering online, through the PDF version, it's free. Now, of course, I'm in Canada. Shipping to Canada is atrocious. It's so expensive. That's a huge hindrance, but I have used border services and ordered from the company, and there are ways to reduce your cost, but there still is a cost there, so something to keep in mind. They do offer sales November and after Christmas, I believe, so you want to just kind of be in the know, look on their website for information on that. Cons. For me, one of the cons is the fact that the answer key is in the book at this level. So I'll show you an example. So this is what they're doing. They're fixing the edit the story, and the answer key is here. So you're meant to cut it and either like hide part of it or put a book over it. I just would prefer not to do that. I would prefer if it was in like the course companion or something. Another con is that some of the books are harder to find because they are older books. Yeah, they can be harder to find. Also, the lesson length, like I said, I would really prefer if it was a set lesson length instead of it varies quite a bit. That's really frustrating to me. I know if you do it according to the way they've set it up by time instead of lesson, it makes more sense. But that was kind of a negative for us. I love, though, that it included Christian values. It's a non-denominational Christian curriculum. There's quotes from the Bible, there's quotes, just uplifting quotes, there's references. It does use stories from McGuffey's readers, the early readers that do include God and Christian values in it. So those were definitely pros for us. And like I said, those pros, they've outweighed the cons for us big time. This is the 4th program, language arts program we've tried, and this is a keeper for us. You can see our next child's gonna use it. He's starting that one next week. It just works for us. We really like it, so we're going to continue with it. If there's anything that I've missed, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will answer them for you. Otherwise, though, I hope that this finds you having a great day. Take care.